Hey, hello everybody. This is Barbara Russell and it is Therapy Thursdays. I am your friendly counselor, author, and speaker here to give you some tips every Thursday that might inspire, hopefully encourage you, whatever your need, perhaps some instruction. I have a lot of material as a counselor, but what I've been thinking about recently is that, oh my goodness, we still keep having challenges with this year. 2020 has been the year, hasn't it? Oh my gosh. We had COVID, we've had hurricanes, we've had fires, we've had floods, we've had political unrest, we've had rise. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And then we'll think, okay, about the time we can take a deep breath, perhaps relax, then we hear that what was opening up, there's been more COVID cases. And so now it's going to be closing down. Oh my gosh, I was actually going to a restaurant to have breakfast. What am I going to do? So I think people are saying, enough already. I'm getting tired of this. So I wanted to share with you 3 tips to help us through hard times, because I think this qualifies, right? Definitely does for me. So the first thing I want to tell you is that it is important to laugh. Now, you may say, I don't feel like laughing. This has not been a funny year. Well, it's not that you feel like it, but it's that you look to laugh, because there are great benefits to doing this. So what I'm going to do is go over some of those benefits of laughter. And I also have this on a blog on my website. If you go to barbararussell.com, and that's Barbara spelled a little differently, B-A-R-B-R-A, Russell, R-U-S-S-E-L-L. So barbararussell.com. I will have all of these down and with a little detail so that you can get it all. Okay, but let me just kind of go over the benefits of laughter. First of all, it produces relaxation. Have you ever noticed after you've laughed, then it kind of calms you down? It boosts your immune system. Hey, we need that. We really want that this year because we don't want to get sick. It improves your mood. Definitely, when you laugh, that does it. Did you know that laughter can prevent heart disease? Hello, let's stay as healthy as we can this year. It shifts your perspective. Of course, at least for a little bit, then you can think of something different. You can think of something else besides woe is me and how terrible everything is. And laughter has social benefits. Hey, it improves cooperation and communication and even romance. And so there are definitely things and reasons why you should laugh. Now, whenever you don't feel like laughing, look them up. I get Reader's Digest and go for the funny jokes, and I collect them because I also do Funny Fridays on my social media posts. So I'm looking all the time. And actually, it's good to look for something funny. It will improve your mood, but hey, maybe it's going to help somebody else. So that's the very first thing I would say. We need to laugh. And next, hey, we need to cry. And it is okay to cry. This year, especially, I think people would say there's been a lot of reasons to cry. And we don't want to stuff it in and keep it all bottled up inside, because guess what? There are some benefits to crying as well. It detoxifies the body. Did you know that you needed to be detoxified? Hey, one of the jokes that I read said, we don't need Halloween this year because I've been wearing a mask and eating candy for 7 months. So, hey, but you know what? With all that sugar, I think we need to be detoxified. I do, at least. Candy corn is so good. All right, but okay, we need to do that. But crying will also help you self-soothe. We're always looking for ways to help make us feel better. It dulls pain. Hey, now there is a benefit that perhaps you haven't thought about. It improves your mood and it can rally support around you. Of course, that depends on, if you're letting those tears show in public, But have you ever noticed how understanding and how comforting people will be? And actually, when you are vulnerable, it encourages other people to be true and be honest and be vulnerable as well. We're all in this together. And when you hear that somebody's been having a hard time, that encourages you that you're not alone. And it can actually help you recover from grief. Okay. With grief, of course, and that's all kind of not just death, but different losses that we have experienced this year. Hey, crying can help restore that emotional balance when you feel like, whew, I'm getting out of sorts here. And lastly, just as kind of a side note, it helps a baby breathe. So this is good when baby cries. You thought they were just doing that to infuriate you. So no. And the other thing I must mention is that, of course, in our culture, men are not encouraged to cry. They need to be strong and they don't need to be weak or be vulnerable. And so oftentimes men don't let those tears come out, perhaps privately in times of divorce or death or something that's difficult for them. But hey, guys, it's okay to cry. But if you just feel like, no, I can't do that, there's other ways to get out some of that emotion. Do some physical activity, whatever that is. Get out in nature, type up what's going on inside of you on a computer or in a journal. There's all kinds of ways. The main thing is you want to get it out instead of keeping it in. All right. So we laugh, we cry. And the third thing we want to do is we want to dream. We want to do something. I was reminded, I watched an old movie the other night. Had Jimmy Stewart in it. That tells you how old it was. It was a World War II story about a plane that had crashed in the middle of the desert. And the survivors were outside this junk heap of a plane. They were just, of course, having all kinds of mixed emotions. They're thinking, well, we survived, but now we look around, there's nothing but desert around. They had a limited amount of water. And so what are we going to do? And they were just sitting there all dejected and down. And that's what we can do sometimes, right? Sometimes we just feel all dejected and we down and depressed, like, oh, is this ever going to end? When I'm looking around, I don't see Superman coming. I don't see any end. And it can make us feel really hopeless and down. Well, one of the guys said, hey, you know what? We can sit around here and watch each other die, or we can do something. Because one of their members had said, I think I can make this old hunk of the plane, what's left, I think I can make it where we could at least fly a little bit and get out of here. Well, that seemed perhaps impossible and certainly improbable, but what do they have to lose, right? They could sit around and watch each other die, or they could get busy and doing what they can. They even argued about it. Well, is that going to take more energy? Will that require more water? It was this big, big thing. But ultimately they said, let's just do something. And that reminded me too of a story in the Bible. In 2 Kings, we hear the story of some lepers who were sitting outside the gates of the city. Well, now, of course, back in those days, talk about a hard year. This had been a year of famine, the Bible tells us. And lepers had it bad anyway. Leprosy is contagious. There was no cure for that back then. And so they were shunned. They were outcasts. So they were sitting outside the city walls and saying, okay, we're just going to die. And inside was the enemy, and beside there was the famine. So what are we going to do? But they, just like the survivors in that old movie, said, well, we can sit around here and watch each other die, or we can go in. If we go into the city and they kill us because the enemy is there, or we die of starvation, well, what difference does it make? We're going to die anyway, right? Or we can sit out here and just die. So let's do something. Hey, this was the key. They went inside the city and the enemy was gone, left all of the food there. They had plenty to eat. And that just kind of brings up another point, is that a lot of times what we worry about is the worry is worse than what it actually is. So if we get up our nerve, we get up the courage to say, let's just do something here, it can make all the difference in the world. I was talking to a client the other day who was in that spot and really just feels stuck and flat and just on survival. But as we talked about, what did she used to like to do? Or maybe what's an idea that she might have that she would wish that she could do? Well, she said, I used to teach kids how to cook. It was so fun. But there's no way to do that now. We can't meet, blah, 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 blah. But then as she even began to think about that, the ideas began to come. Hey, I could do something on Zoom. Yeah. Whenever you intentionally decide to do something, the ideas will come. It brings this energy, it brings passion, which brings purpose. And that's going to help you, and maybe it'll even help somebody else. I know this is how I decided to do these Therapy Thursday videos. I've been doing daily social posts, but I really like to talk on camera, and I really like to be in front of people. I'm not afraid to be on the stage. And so I'm saying I should use something that I really enjoy doing. And hey, I'll do it. It'll just help me, but maybe it will help somebody else as well. And so that dream produced some passion, which produces purpose, which produces energy, and you will get revitalized as well. So I want you to remember these 3 tips. Look for things that make you laugh. It's okay to cry. And thirdly, let's dream. Let's do something together. And we will get through this. And by the end of this year, then we can say, hey, we made something good out of what could have been so bad. So this is Barbara Russell, your counselor, author, speaker here on Therapy Thursdays. I hope that you will join me every Thursday, 1 p.m. on Mountain Time, where I will share some tips that I hope will be helpful to you, just like I have enjoyed doing this. Alrighty, bye-bye now.